Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and Apple released macOS Tahoe 26.4 to the public. macOS 26.4 Tahoe is available around the world at the same time for everyone on all macOS 26 supported devices. If you're not seeing the update and you'd like to install it, you can find it under System Settings, then General, and then Software Update. If you're still not seeing it, jump back one, go back into Software Update, and you should see it there. This may take a few tries, but you should see it. There are quite a few new features and changes in this update, and I'll link them in the chapters in the description below so you can jump around to what you'd like to see. Let's close this out and talk about what's new. Now, the first change is for those with MacBooks in particular, because it's a new battery setting. If we go into our system settings and then battery, under charging, we have a new option here where we can change the charge limit. Prior to this, we just had optimized battery charging, but now you can set a limit from 80 to 100%. So you can adjust that now if you'd like to. We'll go ahead and close out of this, and the next thing has to do with messages. If we go into messages, you'll see within messages we have some new emoji. This is to comply with the latest Unicode standard. Apple doesn't come up with these emoji, but they just comply with the standard. So we have a distorted face, a fight cloud, a Sasquatch or hairy creature, an orca, landslide, treasure chest, ballet dancer, and trombone. So again, they add these periodically based on the latest Unicode standard. Now, if we go into Safari, there's a change here that quite a few people will appreciate. So within Safari, maybe we'll open another tab, we'll go to Apple this time, maybe we'll learn more about the MacBook Neo, and if we go up to Safari and then go to Settings, within Settings, once they open here, if we go to Tabs, within Tabs, we now have the option for Compact again. If we click on this, you'll see they go compact, they go up to where the address bar was before, and so that's a great feature that they've brought back. They've also brought this to the iPad as well. So you can continue using them in separate tabs or compact tabs if you prefer that. Now within music, there are no changes that correlate with what we have with iOS 26.4. When it comes to different music players, there's no change here whatsoever. Even the small player or full screen player, it's the same as it was on iOS 26.3 and 26.3.1. So they really haven't changed anything, haven't brought Playlist Playground or anything like that. So again, no changes there, at least compared to the previous version. When it comes to reminders, there is an update as well though. If we go into reminders, within reminders, you'll see a new smart list here for urgent. We also have a reminder here that I created, and if we right click or option click on it, we can quickly add it to mark as urgent, and then it gets added to that smart category. So that's something that's new that you can also set with alarms here as well, just like you can on iOS now. If we go up to the control center, there's some changes here where it's much more of a glass look this time around. Prior to this, the windows were a little bit sort of darker and harder to see through. Now they've made it a little bit more translucent. We have some changes within the TV app as well. So if we go into TV, I'm in the Apple TV app and we have the F1 movie behind it, but it is blanked out because we're screen recording. But you'll see we have our captions option right here. Subtitle and caption settings are easier to find when you're viewing media now, and they now have real-time preview options available directly from the caption option. If we go into our apps, we have a new Freeform icon to go along with Apple Creator Studio. If we open this up, there's some new options here as well. We have premium content if you subscribe to it, and if we go into Untitled, for example, we have new options here at the top. If we open this up, we can discover sort of things such as backgrounds or the latest in travel. We also have images or photos, as well as graphics, and then we have other things such as backgrounds and then shapes that we had before. Also, if we close this out, and if we go up to our menus here, there's a few different changes. For example, under the Freeform menu, it now says Privacy and Analytics, so that's a slight change here as well. And then also under File, Export now has glyphs next to it. They've updated all of these to have additional glyphs to match all of the other apps. Even the Help app or Help option has glyphs next to it as well. If we go into settings, there's some updates with purchase sharing. So maybe you have a family account like I do if we go into that. And if we scroll down, you'll see purchase sharing. If we go into that, Apple says in macOS 26.4, purchase sharing now lets adult members in the family sharing group use their own payment method when making purchases without relying on the family organizer. So they can use their own cards as long as they're an adult. There's also some differences within system settings. Within settings, you'll see it now says AirDrop and Continuity, where it used to say Handoff. If we go into this, they've made some changes here as well, where Continuity now says Allow handoff between this Mac and your iCloud devices. In addition to this, there's a new section that says Widgets and iPhone mirroring. So just a few changes here and there to sort of clean things up. If we go down in our settings to where we have iCloud, within iCloud, you'll see that we now have a new option for data access on iCloud.com. This goes along with what we see on iOS 26.4, and if we go into this, it says manage your mail, contacts, calendars, photos, notes, reminders, files, and documents on iCloud.com and privacy.apple.com. However, it now says allow data access. You can also allow search, where it says allow your trusted Apple devices to provide search results to iCloud.com. So you can turn this on if you'd like. It's off by default. Again, under Advanced, you can clear your recent searches and also export them. So if you want to see exactly what you were searching, you can see it there. If we go into our apps, and this time we go down to where we have shortcuts, there's a small update here as well. If we go to add a shortcut, within our actions, there's a new action for battery, specifically battery charge limit. We can then add this and then change the limit from 80% to 100%. In addition to this, if maybe we want to change this at the top with the different glyphs, there's also a new phone here. We have a new flip phone that's a new style or a new glyph we can select if we want to use that. Now, one bit of warning is if you're running an application that was originally designed for an Intel-based Mac, you'll now get a warning the first time you open it that shows that the current software version will not open in a future release of macOS, where it no longer will support Rosetta, which is a way to play Intel-based applications on Apple Silicon-based devices. So that will be something that goes away in the future. Under the Spotlight search options, if we scroll down, you'll see that if we go all the way to the bottom, under Files here with results from System, there's a little eye. If we click on the eye for information, you'll see that we have documents and all sorts of other things that we can exclude from being shown in Spotlight search results. So maybe we don't want it to show maybe movies or music or other, or maybe presentations or spreadsheets. You can simply turn those off and it will exclude those from the results. You can also have hidden file types where it says to hide file types from appearing in Spotlight results, click add or drag and drop the file type with the extension. So you have the option to add those now and completely exclude them from your results. Now, typically in every major version of macOS, we get enterprise updates, and macOS 26.4 has quite a few. This is on Apple's What's New for Enterprise in macOS Tahoe 26, and you'll see there's quite a few things here. For example, a device management service can configure what content can be migrated to a managed Mac computer during Setup Assistant. Also, new declarative configurations for Apple Intelligence, External Intelligence, Siri, and keyboard settings are available. These replace the restrictions for the settings in this here, and you'll see this is now deprecated. There's also new controls that are available to configure which volumes that file provider extensions can access and how they synchronize data. Also, starting in macOS Tahoe 26.4, users will be notified when they launch apps that use Rosetta. That's something I mentioned before. Also, the new age range setup pane is automatically skipped for devices using automated device enrollment. If a new identity certificate fails to install during device management enrollment renewal, the original certificate is retained to prevent unenrollment. Also, it resolves an issue where configured printers were removed after a software update. Login window settings configured by device management correctly return to defaults after the configuration is removed. It also resolves an issue where users created with the account configuration command and other policies applied may fail to authenticate. Also, network shares added to favorites and unmounted no longer fail to reconnect. In addition to that, Keynote numbers and pages do not prompt to sign into an Apple account when installed as a managed app. So all of those are included. In addition to this, there's some notes as well. And on Apple's public release website for notes, you'll see there's still some known issues with Address Sanitizer. AppKit has resolved issues. There's new features for background assets. There's also resolved issues for that as well. New features for Core MIDI. External boot still has some known issues. When installing an external disk, some configurations of an M1 Apple Silicon Mac might panic at boot. Also, it resolved that issue with external media where HFS external media might fail to mount automatically, and there's resolved issues for installation. Internet accounts still has some known issues, and there's additional known issues as well. So some of these things still need to be resolved, but it lets you know here. Of course, there's also security updates. And on Apple's security release website, you'll see all of the latest releases with iOS 26.4, and you'll of course see macOS Tahoe 26.4. If we go into this, you'll see quite a few new security updates. everything from admin framework. If we scroll down, you'll see things such as GPU drivers, iCloud, and much more. So this is a pretty important update specifically for these security updates, and you'll see here, for example, with Notes, the impact or issue was an app may be able to delete files for which it does not have permission. To fix this, a path handling issue was addressed with improved validation, and here's the CVE number and the person that helped them find the issue, or the team that did in this case. So again, if you're wondering if you should install macOS 26.4, if you're already on any version of macOS Tahoe, I would recommend it. There's still older versions available, so if you refuse to jump onto macOS Tahoe, for example, you still have macOS Sequoia and macOS Sonoma options. So if you haven't updated to any of these, I definitely would, just for the security patches alone. But you don't have to jump up to macOS Tahoe if you don't want to, unless it's a newer Mac that only supports that. As far as overall performance, well, it seems to be pretty fast already. No real issues running Pro apps or anything like that, whether it's Pixelmator Pro or Final Cut Pro. And when it comes to battery life, so far it's been pretty good. Of course, that will take a few days to measure, and we can talk about that in the weekend follow-up video. I was using it earlier today with macOS Tahoe on the M5 MacBook Air, and it seems to be doing just fine. And of course, this is a newer device, so it has 100% battery health. But overall, it seems to be running very well. So that's everything in macOS Tahoe 26.4, quite a few new features and changes. I would expect the next major changes in macOS 27. And we expect macOS 27 to be shown for the first time on June 8th, as Apple has officially announced WWDC 2026. So we can expect it on June 8th, typically with a macOS 27 Beta 1 there as well. In between now and then, we could get macOS 26.5 betas. We could see those this week or next week. We don't really know at this point. And of course, we're still waiting for that Siri 2.0 upgrade. So we'll have to wait and see if that's in macOS 26.5 or if they push it to macOS 27. So that's everything in macOS 26.4. It's a nice update with some big security updates, so definitely, again, I recommend installing it. Let me know how it's going for you on your Mac in the comments below, and of course, I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already, though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.